Let me guess. You clicked on this video because at some point in your life, you asked AI to give you ideas to make money. Understandable. But what you got back was the same generic list every person with an internet connection and a dream also got. That's because asking AI to give you business ideas is actually one of the worst things you can do if you are serious about making money, especially online. Why? Because AI is trained on everything that already exists. It's designed to give you the average response. So the best it can do for you is give you someone else's business plan, complete with M-dagesters and regurgitated logic and just things that already exist. And while you can make money by copying, if you do it properly, we'll talk about how to do that later in the video, the most successful business owners know that the easiest and fastest way to dominate is when your business is a category of one. The hard truth is, coming up with business ideas, that's the easy part. Finding one that you'll enjoy working on, that doesn't burn you out and actually makes you money, that's the hard part. And I should know. I've tried to build over 40 businesses in my life. Of those 40, only about 3 have had any type of success. And when I say success, I just mean they didn't lose me money. I don't mean they made me a billionaire. But when I look back to see what the difference between the failures and the winners was, the thing they all had in common was where the idea came from. And so I learned the hard way that if a business doesn't come from you, from your frustrations, your skills, your unfair advantages, you'll either procrastinate and never start, abandon it in 6 months, or it will just flat out fail. So in this video, I'm giving you my 3 proven frameworks to come up with business ideas that are not only completely unique, but will also light a fire in you. They'll rip away the procrastination and actually make you excited about working on them. And when you implement these 3 things, you'll start to see business opportunities every single place you go. Plus, I'll walk through how I used each framework for each of my 3 successes. And at the end, I'll tell you which framework built the most successful one and why that surprised even me. So grab a pen and a notebook and let's start with the framework that makes money the fastest, the S.W.I.P.E formula. Let me be honest, the fastest path to money is not a brand new idea. It's actually a stolen one. I know. You're probably thinking, Timmy, didn't you just say that you can't make money by copying other people? First of all, that is not what I said. What I said was, you have to do it properly. Stealing ideas is actually what most smart entrepreneurs do. They just don't call it that. It's inspiration. The S.W.I.P.E formula relies on a very simple framework. Find something that's already working and bring it to a market or demographic where it doesn't exist yet. Here's how it breaks down. First, spot a proven business model. Something that's already making money, something that already has customers, and it already has a playbook on exactly how to win. Then, figure out who is a new audience that doesn't have access to it yet. This could be a different location, a different industry, a different age group, or sometimes it could just be a different gender. For example, did you know that Stanley cups were originally for hikers and, as they described it, rugged men like policemen and firemen and hikers? But they ended up pivoting when 3 women, Lindley Hutchinson, Ashley Lasser, and Taylor Cannon, who are the founders of The Buy Guide, an online blog, convinced them to sell them 10,000 pieces of a product line that they were just about to discontinue. They put it on their website and then proceeded to sell them out in 5 days. This is why the next step in the S.W.I.P.E framework is so important. Import the concept. This one can get tricky depending on the idea, so choose how you copy ideas wisely. Don't get sued, but personalize it, find your audience, and implement. The next thing is copy the playbook, from marketing to pricing to operations. Model everything to be as similar as possible to your original idea, because if you try to reinvent the wheel, you may just find out all the things they tried but didn't work. And finally, execute. More than any other step, this is where you need to move fast with the S.W.I.P.E formula, because if you can copy it, so can other people. And once they see your success, they're going to want to. And fun fact, this is actually how I built one of my 3 successes, Haunted House Nigeria. See, I loved haunted houses. I'd been to them in the US, and when I moved to Nigeria, I missed them a lot. And then one day it hit me. Why didn't I just build my own? I knew they worked. People lined up for hours, paid good money, and they came back every single year. At first, I was doing it just for fun, for me and my friends, and I thought it would be cool. Then other people started asking me if they could come, and so I started selling tickets. And then it went a little bit viral on Instagram. We ended up selling out because, again, it was the first one to exist in the country. And that Halloween, I made 4 months of my salary in profit in a single night. And it wasn't because I was some kind of genius. It was just because I took a proven concept and imported it to somewhere else. And it worked. And I know what you're thinking. Timmy, you moved halfway across the world. Of course, for you, it's easy to transplant ideas. But here's the thing. You don't have to move to do it. If you absolutely cannot come up with the ideas, I got you. Here's what you need to start doing. You need to start listening to podcasts that interview founders and business owners. My favorites are My First Millionaire and Starter Story. These are a goldmine of business ideas. In fact, go binge a bunch of these episodes and I guarantee you have to find an idea that you'll fall in love with and want to work on. Or you can subscribe to the channel and watch me break down all the ones that I find in the future. If you're looking to start your very first business, I recommend using the S.W.I.P.E method. But I get it. Sometimes it can feel a little to copy other people's ideas. Fine. You want to build something completely unique? I got you. That's where my second framework, the friction framework, comes in. You probably won't believe me, but did you know that your icks are hiding your best business ideas? Every single time you think, ugh, this is so annoying. Oh, why doesn't this work like that? That's a potential product. That frustration you feel, that's the very beginning of your market research. Turning your problems into solutions is one of the best ways to create a long-term business. But you don't have to take my word for it. Take it from a billion-dollar brand. Whether you love or you hate her, you have to admit Kim Kardashian has built a massive empire. And one of her most successful products is Skims. But did you know how she came up with the idea for Skims?
Really was just looking for a solution to what I hadn't found out there. It started off with simply finding shapewear that was a skin tone that would match my color.
She took something she already loved, shapewear, and looked for where it wasn't working for her and for people like her. She took every small frustration, every imperfection, every I wish it did this differently, and built all those fixes into a brand new product. And that's why the friction framework is so powerful. So how do you use it in your life? Simple. For the next week, I want you to write down every single frustration you have. And it doesn't have to just be with physical products. It could be with a service that exists or something that doesn't even exist. For example, you could say, I wish there was a better place for me and my friends to hang out. Or, I wish there was an app that helps me track all my frustrations. Should I build that? Let me know in the comments if that's something you'd like to see. Maybe there'll be a link in my bio in the future. But back to the framework. After you've spent 2 weeks writing all your annoyances and pet peeves down, I want you to review the list and ask yourself 2 things. 1, is this a problem that other people would also have? 2, is there a process or technology by which this can be improved? If the answer to both is yes, congratulations, you have your first business idea. The next step is to go validate whether or not enough people have the problem for it to be a big enough business for you, and if they are willing to pay enough money for you to solve it. And I'll break down how you can do that in a future video, but for now, just know that that is the next step. I want you to know that the worst thing you can do is dismiss your frustrations as being too small or too irrelevant. I almost ended up doing it with my business. True, but it ended up surprising me because it's been my most successful one to date, which is why it's my favorite framework of the 3. Plus, it has a secret bonus perk that makes it worthwhile to practice this writing your frustrations down and thinking of solutions to them. This literally rewires your brain. You stop seeing the world as being full of problems and instead seeing all those problems as opportunities. Using the friction framework is a super powerful way of coming up with ideas. But great, I get it. It can take a lot of time because you have to wait to experience those problems for long enough and to understand them deeply enough before you can solve them. So if you're in a hurry, it's not the best. This last framework is the hardest, but it is the one that focuses, instead of what's outside, it focuses on what's inside the natural advantage framework. Quick question. Have you ever noticed that some things you do feel super normal to you, but other people seem to be really, really impressed by them? Like genuinely impressed. That's normal. It's your natural advantage. Most people never notice their natural advantages because they're a bit too close to them. They feel completely normal. And if you don't know that, you don't know that it's possible to monetize your natural advantage because you don't actually think it's that impressive. Or you might actually think you don't have any natural advantages, but that's not true. You just have this talent for so long that you don't think it's valuable. If you don't think you have any natural advantages, I'm going to give you 3 very simple ways to figure it out today. The first one is call people and ask them, your friends, your family, your coworkers, your colleagues. Call them and ask them and say, hey, what do you think I'm really good at? Those answers will tell you a lot about what your natural advantages are. The second one is to write down the things that other people come to you for advice. What do my friends and my family ask my opinion on before they make a decision? For example, I always go to my elder sister when I need help with decorating. She's really good with putting colors and pieces together. And I always go to my younger sister when it comes to organizations. She's super neat. Those are their natural advantages, but they seem natural to them. So neither of them run cleaning or interior design businesses. Well, my elder sister did for a little while, but let's not talk about that. That's a topic for a completely different video. The third one is, what could I talk about or do for hours on end without looking at my phone? What will not get me distracted? Embedded in the things you enjoy are your natural advantages. Now, at this point, you may be thinking, like, you have this list and you're like, Timmy, nobody's going to pay for any of these things. Stop that. You're not here to judge any of these things. You're just here to document them. You don't actually know what other people will or will not pay for if you're looking at it through the lens of your natural advantages, because these things seem easy to you. But you have to remember, the reason why people pay for services, coaching, consulting, and courses is because they're looking for shortcuts. Either they don't want to do something by themselves, they don't trust themselves to do it, or they just hope that somebody else will do it better. So make sure you write down all those natural advantages, and let's get back to the framework. Now that you have your list, you can mix and match things to create a unique service or product. And even though you think no one will pay for it, it is worth testing out. Never underestimate what people will pay for. And the best way to come up with an offer to test that I have found is Alex Hormozi's $1 Million Offer Framework. This is a free book. I'll put a link in my bio so that you can find it on your own. But it gives you a way of thinking about packaging your offer to make it irresistible to the right audience. Here's how it works. Take your natural advantage or take your thing and ask, what is the dream outcome for the person who needs this? 2, ask, what are the obstacles between them and that outcome? 3, how can I eliminate those obstacles with what I already know? Once you have those 3 things, you have a selling framework that is proven to work. But it is the hardest because it starts with what you want and not the customer. So you won't immediately know if the market exists, but when it works, and it does work, it does build one of the most sustainable types of repeat business out there because it's one of the ones that is most aligned with who you actually are and what you can deliver. And I know because that's where my consulting agency came from. I took my love for finding great business ideas and I turned it into a whole career. I helped early stage founders and business owners refine their ideas and help them build valuable products. And that's one of the reasons I have this channel today, to help more people do that. Okay, I know I started this video talking about why you shouldn't use AI to come up with business ideas. It's not great. But to be honest, the problem isn't AI itself. It's actually how you're using it. You should not be asking for AI for business ideas cold. That's how you get the vending machine list of generic nonsense. Instead, let AI interview you. Give it your CV, your resume, your academic background, your hobbies, your weird niche interests. And if you want to level it up even further, get it to run you through one of these 3 frameworks. This is especially powerful for the natural advantage framework because you can give it all this background information about you and then ask it, based on everything you know about me, I want you to help me come up with 15 to 20 business ideas that focus on leveraging my natural advantage and skills. It will come up with proven businesses that you can then use the S.W.I.P.E formula to customize to your exact needs. Then you can ask it, I have this list of business ideas. Tell me some markets where it doesn't exist. When you do all that, AI is no longer just guessing what may work. It is now generating ideas with you and brainstorming with you, ideas that are rooted in your actual context and your actual life and things you'll actually enjoy building. And it's synthesizing ideas that you may have been too close to think about or see yourself. So, of these frameworks, how do you choose which one is right for you? Here's my simple guide. If you want to build something fast and proven, you want to make your first dollar, go for the S.W.I.P.E formula. It will get you there the fastest. If you like solving problems and optimizing and tweaking things, then the friction framework should be your go-to method. And finally, if you like sharing yourself with the world and you like helping people, the natural advantage framework is perfect for you. And I mentioned earlier, I would tell you which one I use to build my most successful business. If you can't guess, it's the friction framework. True, my business is the answer to my own problem. And while it hasn't made me a billionaire yet, it has made me over $150,000 and is the one business that I've stuck with the longest because it's a problem that I care about and a solution I care about. So I can resonate with my customers and build something that we all think will be truly amazing. Now you know how to come up with great ideas for business. How do you even get a sense of whether or not they'll actually make money? In my next video, I'm going to be talking about my personal idea validation framework, where I take any idea from these three methods or a combination of them and figure out if it's actually worth building before I spend a tremendous amount of money on them. So make sure to subscribe to the channel and click the bell icon so you don't miss that video. Now, I need you to stop waiting for the perfect idea. Pick your framework and go get started. One of these ideas might just be your next billion-dollar business. Ciao! Udavo! Bye!